So recently I featured Guerlain Homme Boisee in a video, my summer cheapies video, because this one you can get for about $35. This is a tester and I paid about $29 for it. I got to thinking, why don't we do a comparison between Guerlain Homme EDP or Perfume versus Guerlain Homme Boisee. They're both similar, but there's many differences between the two. So if you want to find out what the differences and similarities are, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time tuning into this channel and you love watching fragrance reviews, finding out about new fragrances, discovering new brands, and of course participating in giveaways, please click that link in the info box and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. And I want to stress this again because I'm having a lot of people not claim their giveaway prizes. So unfortunately, if you don't turn on your notifications, you're not going to receive my reply to your original comment on a video where you're participating on a giveaway that you have won. So please turn that notification button on so you'll be notified. Anyway, as mentioned, this was featured recently in my Summer Cheapies video, as I find it to be a very lime-heavy fragrance with vetiver. Almost equally balanced amount of difference between the two notes. You've got an equal amount of lime and an equal amount of vetiver, but I feel like the lime in here is just a tad bit stronger. So I featured it in that video, and I also have it on another video coming up soon, another top 20. But then I think I received a comment, in fact I did receive a comment, and they asked me what the differences or similarities are. I first wrote a comment back to them and said they're completely different. Then I had to go pull it out because I don't ever pull this one out. It's been a long time since I bought it. I actually bought this back in 2016. This is the current version, the 2016 version. And these two fragrances were in completely different bottles before. So I pulled that. I used to wear it a little more back in 2016, but now I put it away and haven't. So I didn't remember. Then I pulled them out and compared them, and I realized that they're very similar, but there are nuances and differences, of course. The similar meaning that this is the original, or I think there was an EDT before, but I can't seem to find an EDT. Then they made an EDP, and then they came out with a flanker. I think that's the timeline, but I'm not 100% sure. But this version of Guerlain Homme EDP is from 2016. This is created by Thierry. This is Guerlain Homme Boisee. This is the original version was from 2012. I couldn't find out any information on when the current version came out, but I'm assuming it's 2016 as well. As you can see, the bottles are similar. I like the fact that they're uniform bottles now. They're matching the Guerlain Vetiver bottle. This unfortunately doesn't have a cap because I bought a tester, as I said, and I'm obsessed with this one now all of a sudden because I like that lime and vetiver combination together. This is a vetiver fragrance after all, but it is actually completely different than Guerlain's original vetiver, their main vetiver fragrance from the 60s. This again, this came out in 2012. It is focusing on the vetiver, but then it's also focusing on the lime, where this one also takes center stage, the lime here. But for me, this one is more about mint, then lime, and then we also have a pretty big rum note. So can you guess what I'm kind of smelling when I smell this? Kind of like a mojito. It's kind of like a woody mojito cocktail. The rum and the lime and the mint kind of goes in that direction, but it does kind of disappear after a while, the mojito kind of a smelling effect. It becomes more of like a citrusy, aromatic, a woody fragrance. But this is considered an aromatic woody fragrance. And what do we have for notes here? You've got, of course, the mint and the lime and the rum in the top. And the heart notes, you get floral notes. But the floral notes here for me are not so strong because that mint, lime, and rum are pretty dominating. And you get maybe light nuances of the floral notes coming in. But without a trained nose, you're not going to pick out what they are. And I'm assuming they're just basically generic kind of floral notes. If whatever notes I get, you get light nuances of like jasmine and perhaps maybe a little bit of rose, but I'm not even 100% sure it would be that. In the base you get cedar, patchouli, and vetiver. The vetiver here is not amped up. It is here, but here that vetiver is completely amped up, totally amped up. This is Boisee and Rummy, and I like that kind of thing, and I'm glad I'm kind of like back on this and enjoying it because I really like this one. It's classy. It's Guerlain. It's a Guerlain style fragrance. It's not definitely one of the older fragrances. This came out in the 2000s. I believe it came out originally in the 2000s, and then some of the older fragrances like Vetiver was from the 60s. I believe it's the 60s, and then you have Habit Rouge, also from the 60s, and then Heritage. Those are my three favorite men's fragrances: Guerlain's Vetiver, Guerlain Habit Rouge, Guerlain Heritage. But these are also excellent. But what's going on with this one? As I said, this one was featured recently in the Cheapies video. I didn't feature this one because it was way in the back and I had totally forgotten about it. But I'm also featuring this one in an upcoming video. I'm still not featuring this one in the upcoming video. But this one for me is very limey. The lime is the main player, the main focus of the fragrance. But the vetiver is really, really there too. They're kind of like a partners. Totally different styles of notes, but very, very nicely paired together, if that makes sense. This is created by Thierry as well. This is considered a woody aromatic just like this one. This one, as I said, $34 for a bottle with a cap. This one, the bottle with the cap, is about $36 currently on the discounters at FragranceNet. I have a link to FragranceNet if you guys want to pick up a bottle there. I bought actually this one as a tester bottle, much cheaper on Fragrance X, and I have a link for them as well. But this one, what you have here are lime, vetiver, woody notes, grassy notes, mint, geranium, rum, and musk. So for me, the standout note is lime, followed by vetiver. Those are like almost equal. But then you also have lots of woody notes here. But you know what? What's creeping into the woody notes is that green grass note. The green grass notes gives this fragrance a very green effect. So if you like green fragrances, these two are both very, very green for me. This one's a little more green, although no, I take it back. This one is very minty, so it's very green and aromatic. This one is very green from the grassy note, and of course the lime note, and you got some other additional things happening. So green in different ways, if that makes sense. This one is more of a vetiver. As I read you the notes, this one has less vetiver in it, but still there. This one you do get that kind of mojito kind of effect. This one you do not. The rum is not so amped up here. There is rum in here, but for me it's more lime, more vetiver, and when you get more vetiver creeping in, and rum and mint is kind of less in here, less in the what do you call it, the formula of the fragrance, then it's not going to smell like rum. For me, I don't get a lot of rum with this one, just like I don't get a lot of floral notes with this one. In fact, there's hardly any floral notes in here, but it is a very musky fragrance. Both of them are on the musky side, but this one I get a little more muskiness than this one, because this one for me, for some reason, that booziness kind of like doesn't act very musky for me. But I'm obsessed with this one all of a sudden. I mean, I had that other bottle, the previous bottle. I wore that and I had it loaned to relatives, and they wore it and they gave it back to me, and of course I ran out. Then I ordered this one. Now all of a sudden I'm kind of like hooked into this and really enjoying it. So I figured let's feature it in some videos because I really like it all of a sudden, and also do this comparison video. Now between these two, there's probably about 4 or 5 other flankers for this series of fragrances. I can't personally find them anymore. I don't know if they're still available. If you guys know, let me know, put a comment down. The only 2 that I found from this series was these 2. And they're definitely worth it. If you like classy men's fragrances, definitely try these. If you like vetiver, definitely try this. This one, of course, has a little bit of the vetiver as well. But if you like a boozy fragrance, kind of like a mojito kind of experience, definitely check this one. They're both woody fragrances, so you gotta like the woody fragrances. Of course, masculine fragrances, they're both masculine. This one actually, for me, doesn't... actually, both of them, I think they can be both worn by men or women. This one, for some reason, leans a little more masculine than this one, I think. Come to think of it, maybe not. What I like about this one also is that there's this creaminess happening in there. Something in here, I think the combination with the notes, the mint and the lime and the rum, makes it creamy. Like, I experience the creaminess, almost like a creamy sandalwood, which I don't see that sandalwood's listed in the notes. but there's something creamy about it. This one is not. This one's more herbal and dry. Anyway, those are the differences and similarities between the two fragrances. Guys, are you fans of this line, the Guerlain Homme line? Now, this is not Guerlain Homme EDP. This is Guerlain Homme, so it's a little confusing. The Guerlain Homme EDP fragrances are in square bottles, and you never know, in the future they might end up in this, because now they've made everything uniform except for those L'Homme series of fragrances, L'Homme EDP series of fragrances. But it does get a little confusing because these, as I said, Guerlain Homme, and then the other fragrances are Guerlain Homme EDP. So I do have a comparison of those fragrances with Ashley if you're curious to watch those. I'll have a link in the info box. But I do have a whole Guerlain playlist. If you like this house, check out that playlist, because you can just discover all the fragrance reviews I've done for that house. And of course, let me know if you have these fragrances and you're a fan of them. And if you are looking for new fragrances for the fall, I think this one is perfect for fall. This one more of a fall and winter. This one definitely spring as well. These are, as I said, both around $35. Very, very inexpensive. If you can get these this cheap, get them, because they are definitely worth it. Great cheapies. Anyway, that's my thoughts on these two fragrances, Guerlain Homme EDP, Guerlain Homme Boisee. Let me know your thoughts. Other than that, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.